what we're going to actually look at now is is keyboard input and gamepad input. And also, just before we start, I'm just going to show you how to show the mouse, because it will just help us along. So if I just run this code straight off, you will see that when it runs, that the mouse is hidden. You see the mouse is up here, but as soon as it goes into the game window, it disappears. Well, for the purpose of actually being able to point to specific parts of the game, I'm going to enable the mouse. So I'm just going to show you how to do this if you ever wish to do this yourself. What we're going to do is we're going to go this dot, and this is a command that allows you to access any variable within the class that we are in. And because we are in the game1 class, we can access anything there. And you can see there is an isMouseVisible variable, which I am going to set to equal true. And then I will run, and you will see that it comes up like so, and the mouse no longer hides. Now, we're going to look at keyboard input and gamepad input. And what we need to do is we need to create a keyboard state. So as you can see, we've got a keyboard state, and I'm going to create two variables, keyboard, comma, L keyboard. Now, keyboard is going to hold the current state of our keyboard, and L keyboard, which stands for last keyboard, is going to hold the last state of our keyboard. And this is needed, for example, if we press the T button and we only want it to happen once every time we press T, we need a last keyboard state to achieve this. And what we're going to just do is, in the update, we're going to go keyboard equals, or KB, sorry, equals a keyboard, not state, but keyboard.getState. So whatever state the keyboard is in, it will get sent into keyboard. And then at the end, before the base.update, we do a L keyboard equals keyboard, KB, like so. This means that every time keyboard.getState, it gets a new state of the keyboard, the L keyboard will hold the last or previous state, which means we can program in single key presses. So we could say if kb.isKeyDown keys.a and L keyboard.isKeyUp keys.a. So that means if the current key A is pressed, but the last key A was not pressed, i.e. the A button's only just been pressed and it's not being held down, then run the code. But the next time it comes round, L keyboard will say that the A button is pressed, and also keyboard will say the button is pressed, and therefore it won't run. And that's how you do a press, but I'm assuming you'll be able to grasp that on your own. So now I could say if keyboard.isKeyDown, let's say keys.q, this.exit, and this will actually quit the application. So if I run it and press in, if I run it, come on build, there we go. If I run and press the Q button, it will quit. Now, the only things you need to know with the keyboard is KB or keyboard.isKeyDown or isKeyUp, and that will allow you full access over the keyboard and everything you need to do. Now we're going to just have a quick look at pads. So we're going to have a gamepad state, pad 1, last pad, L pad 1. I call them pad 1 and L pad 1 for the player 1's pad and the last player 1's pad, again using keyboarding and last keyboard. So in the update, I'm going to create at the top pad 1 equals gamepad.getState. This time though, we have to pass in another variable, and it's the player's index. Now the player index is whatever pad is connected to the Xbox or PC. So if it's our first pad, or first LED is lit up, we know that the player index .1. However, player index .2 is the second, .3 the third, and .4 the fourth. So I'm just going to type in player index .1, i.e. the first pad connected will control this game. And then we're going to do last L pad equals pad 1. And a couple of things we can look at is a couple of commands. If pad1.buttons. and then we can select any button, the A button, the B button, the back button, the left shoulder, the right stick being pressed down, the right shoulder, etc. So let's say A, and then you do a double equals and then a button state, and the options are it's either pressed or it's released, and that's how we use buttons. We can also access the triggers, so we can access triggers.left or right, left, and I could say if it's greater or equal to 0.5f, then because a trigger not pressed is 0, a trigger pressed is 1, and of course there's all the analog variation in between. And then finally the thumbsticks, we can go pad1.thumbsticks.left or right.x or y. So x -1 is thumbstick fully to the left, 0 is thumbstick in the middle, +1 is thumbstick fully to the right, and the same with the y-axis. And that is all you really need to know with the keyboard and pad inputs. And hopefully you'll be able to now use some input in your game. Next tutorial we're going to actually look at moving our boat image. Alright?